This is the frame, rolling chassis, for a 1979 XLH Harley Davidson Sportster. It's the Ironhead motor, but if you've got most Ironhead frames look nothing like this. Most Ironhead frames are like an egg with a little tail on it. What they don't have is this triangle thing here. And I was watching a channel, Shade Tree Surgeon, which is a guy in Florida, and he's got an FXR from the 80s. And he said one of the reasons that people didn't really like them at the time, thought they weren't real Harleys, was because they had this triangle bit. And he described it as a Japanese style frame, which, yeah, I can see that, because I've had 70s Suzukis, Hondas, Yamahas, never a Kawasaki. I'm just not fast enough. But and they've all had this kind of frame. But I've also had bikes from the 1960s, like the BSA A10, and I've had friends with Nortons and Triumph Bonnevilles. And the frames are again like this. They've got that triangle there. When I did BTEC engineering, I remember them saying about how strong a triangle was, and we had to sort of know why, and I'm sure I did at the time. Most Sportsters don't have these frames, and my guess is this is a Cafe Racer frame. I normally say Cafe Racer, but apparently you pronounce it Cafe Racer if it's the Harley. So the Cafe Racer was, well, a Cafe Racer was a very sporty-looking bike with a very highly tuned engine. But the production ended in 1979, and at the exact same time, Sportsters started being made with these frames, which, I mean, it's got the box section swinging arm, which again is a Cafe Racer thing. It is my contention. The advertising at the time says the 79 XLH has a frame, how do they put it? It's like modelled on or inspired by the Cafe Racer. But I think these just are Cafe Racer frames. I think they had a ton of them left over when it didn't sell as well as they thought it would. And they thought, sod it, Cafe Racer is just an Ironhead, let's do a load of Sportsters. And you end up with this thing. On one hand, it's a pain in the bum. The tanks from every other Sportster, petrol tanks, oil tanks, don't fit them. Loads of odds and sods of bits do not fit these machines. But you know what, for me, it's absolutely fantastic, because this is the kind of frame that I grew up with. The motorcycles that I cut my teeth on, the BSAs, the Hondas, the Suzukis, they had frames like this. This is how I expect a motorcycle to handle, and that's been quite reassuring. I'll give you a close-up of the existing wiring while it's still here. It all works, it's just not as tidy as it could be, and there's a lot of things that have more joins than they could be, than they need, and there's like one orange wire leading off on the multicoloured wires, which there's 4 wires coming off of that, 3 different colours. And down inside here you have the circuit breakers. There's 4 of them, and things variously attached to them. I think one of them's 30 amp and the others are 18, 20 amp, so you've got to be careful what you attach to what. But I've got diagrams, so it's going to be fine. I didn't know what they were, incidentally, when I first took this apart. And I was wondering why I couldn't find any fuses. But I suppose a circuit breaker is a posh fuse, isn't it? So that's all right then.